Okay, I'm introducing another level of functionality in our diluent gas distribution path for a mixed gas closed circuit rebreather. The principle I'm expanding on is that one diluent gas supply should be supplying all the peripheral devices on the diluent side at a time. That way there's no confusion as to an appropriate gas being plugged in and supplying a certain part of the rebreather at any given time. So that starts here with our offboard gas supply. And again, this gas supply whip could come from a diluent cylinder hard mounted on the back of the rebreather. That's totally okay. Or it could be from an offboard stage cylinder, also called a drive gas, or some other supply source. Gas enters through a high flow CEJN or Sequest style nipple, and then through a non-return valve, which is important in this position in the event this supply hose bursts or the connection were accidentally released, and then to our MAV block, or gas distribution block, which we've presented previously. Now this block is somewhat unique in that there are 4 common ports which make up a manifold. So here we have the inlet, we have an unused outlet here, then we have an outlet to our ADV, an outlet to our BOV or bailout regulator, and then this end of the block is preserved for our manual addition valve or MAV functions. So we'll follow through the common gas path first. So we have gas supply in, and then let's go out to our BOV or our bailout regulator, which we, in this case, as shown here, would be positioned on a necklace under our chin. So that's our go-to in the event we want to bail off the rebreather or take our sanity breaths. And of course, tracking back, that's all supplied from a known offboard gas. For our ADV, we've incorporated a shutoff, and it's a different style shutoff than the slider we've shown previously and is seen here for the manual addition valve. We'll talk about that in a minute, but the ADV shutoff is a 90-degree T-handle. So it's on when it's in line with the hoses and off when it crosses the hoses. Now it's perfectly fine to have a slider in this position as well, but what I try to avoid is having 2 sliders that feel the same, and maybe in a more stressful situation would be hard to identify which was which if I needed to shut something off quickly. So in this case, there's no confusion. There's 2 sliders, 2 on-offs visible. One is a 90-degree on-off, very easy to actuate with gloves on and easy to find on your shoulder. And then the second shutoff here is for the manual addition valve. Now, as I've presented previously with our manual addition valve block, the valve itself is supplied in the opposite direction. So it's a BC style cartridge, but holding it closed are both the spring as intended and also gas pressure. So it'd be very unlikely for this valve to fail open. However, as an added insurance measure, I've added an on-off slider in the desired direction of on towards where the gas is going and then off back towards the valve. So we can basically, with this manual addition valve block or gas control block being central to our gas distribution, everything is controlled here at the diver's shoulder, and this would be at the left shoulder for the diluent side. Another thing we've done on the with the manual addition valve side is, of course, this would go to any hose length needed to plug into your rebreather where appropriate. In our case, we have this through lid bushing to a short section of thin tubing, and we position the tubing in proximity to the sensor faces such that you can, on a very long dive, you can use this to give a shot of gas and wick away moisture off the sensor faces. That works really well after several hours of diving when you're starting to have that condensate problem with the galvanic sensors. It also helps as a quick cell verification tool, where if we have our known diluent supply and we actuate the manual add valve and we're blasting a known fraction of gas over the sensors, we can do some quick math to make sure the sensors are behaving properly and at least that they're responsive to a change in the gas fraction. So this is a more advanced configuration, but again, building on that principle of a single diluent supply entering the diluent side distribution of the rebreather, and with all of the control functionality in one place, very easy to access at the diver's left shoulder. And in a subsequent video, I'll expand on this one more step for more sophisticated dives with hypoxic mix.